Picture this. You do everything exactly the way society told you to. You work hard, you sacrifice your weekends, you finally get that massive promotion, and your salary crosses into the six-figure territory. You feel like you finally made it. But the moment you start making what the government considers too much money, they reward your success by locking the doors, changing the locks, and completely kicking you out of the single greatest wealth-building tool in existence. You are legally barred from using the exact same tax-free account that everyone else is using to get rich. But here is the thing that will blow your mind. The ultra-wealthy aren't worried about being locked out. They never even try to use the front door because they know about a completely legal IRS-approved loophole that bypasses the income limits entirely. It sounds like a shady offshore accounting trick, but it's sitting right there in the tax code. And today, we are going to expose exactly how it works. My name is Lolita, and I spend way too much time dissecting the invisible traps and secret rules that keep the middle class paying retail price for everything, while the wealthy play a completely different game. If you're tired of being punished for succeeding and you actually want to keep the wealth you build, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Before we dive into the mechanics of this loophole, we need to have a very uncomfortable conversation about the economy in 2026. Look at the macro environment. The federal government is overspending by trillions of dollars. The national debt is skyrocketing and the deficit is expanding like a balloon that's about to pop. Now, let me ask you a logical question. When a government spends trillions of dollars it doesn't have, how do they eventually pay for it? They pay for it by raising your taxes. There is mathematically no other way out of this situation. Because of this brutal reality, shielding your money from future taxes isn't just a smart investing strategy anymore. It is an absolute necessity for your financial survival. If you are blindly putting all your money into normal taxable accounts, you are volunteering to be the cash cow that pays for the government's overspending a decade from now. You need a tax-free treasure chest. You need a Roth IRA. If you don't know, the Roth IRA is the holy grail of personal finance. You put after-tax money in today, you invest it, and from that moment on, all the growth, all the dividends, and all the compound interest is completely 100% tax-free. When you reach age 59 and a half, you can withdraw millions of dollars and you won't owe the IRS a single penny. But there is a catch: the velvet rope. For 2026, the IRS says that if you are a single filer earning more than $168,000 or a married couple earning more than $252,000, you are too rich. You are completely phased out. You cannot contribute a single dollar directly to a Roth IRA. I hear this all the time. Smart people say, my income is too high, so I guess I'm just stuck using a regular taxable brokerage account. No, absolutely not. If you accept that, you are voluntarily surrendering hundreds of thousands of dollars in future capital gains taxes. The solution is a two-step maneuver called the Backdoor Roth IRA. You couldn't walk through the front door because the bouncer checked your W-2 and said you make too much money, so we are going to walk around to the side of the building, step through an unlocked side door, and walk right into the exact same VIP room. Here is the step-by-step blueprint to execute this without triggering an IRS nightmare. Step 1. The side door. The traditional IRA. If you make too much money for a Roth, the very first thing you do is open a traditional IRA at a major brokerage like Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard. Why? Because unlike the Roth, the traditional IRA has absolutely zero income limits for making a contribution. The IRS does not care if you make $200,000 or $20 million. Anyone can put money in. For 2026, the limit is $7,500 or $8,600 if you're 50 or older. You link your checking account and transfer that full $7,500 in. Now, here is the crucial detail. Usually, people deduct traditional IRA contributions from their taxes, but because you are a high earner, you don't qualify for that deduction. That is exactly what we want. You are making what the IRS calls a non-deductible contribution. You are putting already taxed money into the account. Step 2, the conversion. Right now, your $7,500 is sitting in the traditional IRA, likely in cash or a money market fund. Do not invest it yet. You're going to log into your brokerage account, click Transfer, and move that entire $7,500 directly from the traditional IRA into your Roth IRA. This is officially called a Roth conversion. And here is the magic trick. While there are income limits to contribute to a Roth, there are absolutely zero income limits to convert to a Roth. You just successfully funded your tax-free account. But timing is everything here. You want to execute this conversion immediately, the day after the cash clears. Why? Because if you get lazy, leave it in the traditional IRA for 6 months and it grows to $8,000, you now have a problem. When you convert that $8,000, you will owe ordinary income tax on that $500 of growth. It creates a messy tax bill. The golden rule is contribute, wait for the cash to settle, and convert immediately. Step 3. The paperwork, Form 8606. The IRS is a bureaucratic machine. When you do this, your brokerage will send you a 1099-R form saying money left your traditional IRA. If you just plug this into cheap tax software without paying attention, the computer will think you took an early withdrawal and try to penalize you. To stop this, you or your CPA must file Form 8606. This simple form tells the IRS, hey, I put already taxed money into a traditional IRA and then I moved it to a Roth. I already paid taxes on this money. Do not double tax me. Now I need you to pay very close attention, because if you just blindly follow this strategy without checking your financial history, you are going to step on a landmine that will completely blow up your tax return. It is called the Pro-Rata Rule. This is the poison pill the IRS leaves for people who don't read the fine print. Let's say you decide to do the Backdoor Roth this year. You open a brand new traditional IRA, put your $7,500 in, and get ready to convert it. But 5 years ago, you left an old job and rolled your old 401k into a different traditional IRA, and that old account has $92,500 of pre-tax money sitting in it. You might think, I'll just leave that old account alone. I'll only convert my new $7,500 account. The IRS says no. The IRS does not look at your IRA accounts as separate buckets. They look at all of your traditional IRAs, SEP IRAs, and simple IRAs as one giant blended bucket of money. So in their eyes, your total bucket now has $100,000 in it. $92,500 is pre-tax, and $7,500 is your new after-tax money. That means your total bucket is 92.5% pre-tax. When you go to convert your $7,500 to the Roth, the IRS forces you to take a proportional scoop out of that giant bucket. Because the bucket is 92.5% pre-tax, the IRS will tax 92.5% of your $7,500 conversion as ordinary income. You just triggered thousands of dollars in surprise taxes, completely destroying the efficiency of the loophole. So, how do we hack the trap? How do we bypass the pro-rata rule? You hide the pre-tax money. The IRS rules state that 401k accounts do not count toward the pro-rata calculation. If you take that $92,500 from your old IRA and roll it forward into your current employer's active 401k plan, your traditional IRA balance effectively drops to zero. The coast is clear. You can now make your $7,500 backdoor Roth conversion and pay absolutely zero taxes. Let's assume you navigated the trap. The coast is clear. You have $7,500 sitting in your Roth IRA, totally tax-free. This is the exact moment where millions of beginners completely sabotage themselves. They see the money in the account, they feel proud, and they log off. But your money is just sitting in a settlement fund earning minimal interest. You haven't actually bought anything yet. The Roth IRA is meant for retirement. If you are in your 30s or 40s, you have decades before you touch this money. Charlie Munger famously said, "The big money is not in the buying or the selling, but in the waiting." The rule for a Roth IRA is simple: growth now, dividends later. You do not need conservative bond funds right now. You need low-cost, broad market index funds or ETFs. You want the S&P 500 or the total U.S. stock market, funds like Vanguard's VTI or SPYM. These funds give you exposure to thousands of companies with almost zero fees, so you keep your money instead of paying Wall Street managers. If you want to be more aggressive, you allocate a portion to a tech-heavy ETF like QQQM, tracking the NASDAQ 100, companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia. Yes, it's volatile, but for money you won't touch for 20 years, it is the ultimate growth engine. Let me show you the brutal math of why this is the greatest wealth hack in existence. Let's say you are 35. You use the Backdoor Roth strategy to invest $7,500 every single year until you are 60. Over 25 years, assuming a standard 10% market return, your portfolio grows to roughly $815,000. But look at the breakdown. You only contributed $187,000 of your own money. The remaining $625,000 is pure compound investment growth. If you had just accepted your fate and used a standard taxable brokerage account, when you went to sell that $625,000 profit to fund your retirement, the government would hit you with long-term capital gains taxes. Depending on your tax bracket and state, you would be writing a check to the government for over $100,000. You would be giving away $100,000 of your own life's work. But because you took 5 extra minutes once a year to use the Backdoor Roth, you owe zero. You keep every single penny. You are essentially buying a $100,000 tax discount for 5 minutes of clicking buttons on a brokerage app. That is the highest hourly wage you will ever earn in your life. And the best part? Once you hit your 60s, you can log into your Roth, sell all your aggressive growth ETFs, and shift the entire pile into high-yield dividend funds like SCHD or JEPI. Because it's inside a Roth, that massive portfolio restructuring triggers zero tax events. You can generate thousands of dollars a month in passive dividend income, and every single dollar hits your checking account completely tax-free. The Backdoor Roth isn't a secret society. It is a mathematical reality available to anyone willing to read the rules of the game. Here is your action plan. First, if you are over the income limit, stop making excuses and stop using the taxable account as your primary vehicle. Second, check your existing traditional IRA balances. Do not fall for the pro-rata trap. Roll those old IRAs into a 401k if you can. Third, execute the non-deductible contribution, convert it immediately, and actually invest the money into broad market index funds. Do not let the government's overspending become your retirement problem. Use the tools they built into the tax code to protect your own capital. If this video saved you from a massive future tax bill, hit that subscribe button because we are going to keep exposing the financial rules that they forgot to teach you in school. I'll see you in the next one.